The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You is certainly a manga series of which I am always so excited. All of us are so excited to see the next episode. In each and every episode or chapter that comes out, it's always going to be a step up, fam. And till this moment, to this day, it still continues that trend so beautifully, right? I'm always so excited to figure out or to anticipate, right, who the next girlfriend, for instance, is going to be focused on at the next chapter, or whether there's going to be a really good story arc that's going to be cooked up by Nakamura Sensei and wonderful, amazing artwork drawn by Nozoa Sensei. And in the anime adaptation for this manga, it still follows true to that sense of becoming so excited and getting so hyped and happy when watching an episode's entire delivery. And I'm really happy to say that with this episode, as usual, it delivers such a banger of a story, and I just can't wait to share it with you. Now, episode 8 is essentially the continuation to the previous episode in the sense that they're continuing off with this Kiss Biohazard arc, right? So the episode opens up with a quick recap of what happened, and essentially, rightfully so, I believe that they do need a recap, because if I'm going or watching in an episode, right, where 4 girls who have this huge urge to kiss a very handsome man, and they're chasing after that man along with the redhead with a hook on her head, right, I would also be a bit confused. But hey, that's Hyakuno, that's anime, that's manga for you. After that recap, we cut to the opening, and we cut to the scene where Rentaro and Kusuri try to escape from these girls. And I won't get into too much spoiler on that area, right? But key things that I also wanted to bring up from this chapter, or from this episode rather I should say, is that it delivers really well at adapting the manga, but I also really love the sort of anime original moments and scenes that they've done, or that they've added towards this entire episode, right? It makes it so much funnier, especially when paired with the right sound bites and the right voice acting. Kept bringing this up in my videos over and over again, but I really just can't help stop giving praise about the voice acting of this series, man. The entire cast is just perfect. We've seen how good Hakari, Karine, Shizuka, and Nano and Rentaros are, right? But with Kusuri, getting to hear more of her voice just makes her sound so much more enjoyable, right? For some reason, she certainly has that voice of which, in my opinion, I do not get annoyed at after all. In fact, I find it to be cute. In one way or another, I kind of picture it sort of similar with that of Anya's, in the sense when she's in a panicky mode, that sort of comedic moment when she's rattled, or when she's startled, or when she has that sort of line delivery in that shaky or really upbeat voice. I quite like it, and it still delivers the punchline so well. And I think, or I know rather for a fact that that's certainly the charm of Kusuri, and it's exactly the vibe that I get from Kusuri's character as well. That this energetic little girl who's obsessed with medicine, right? I really love how they really portrayed her character so well from just the voice acting. Another things that I also wanted to bring up as well is the sound effects from Shizuka, as usual. Shizuka being this really cute petite character who's so fragile, so to speak, right? I really love the sound bites that involve her. At times it would sound like a plushy squeaky noise, and other times it's just so adorable all around to see other members of the Rentaro family, or to see the gang, right, help her out. Kusuri's facial expression, or going to go back on Kusuri, her facial expressions in the anime do not disappoint, fam. Nozoa Sensei, aside from just making beautiful girls, right, and just beautiful characters all around, she's also very good at making all of these comedic gestures, these facial expressions of comedy, and I absolutely find it so charming, and I'm glad that really translated well into the anime and into Kusuri's facial expressions. And once more, much like how Shizuka has those little bedhead parts from her hair also animated, right? I also really love the animation. The animation essentially of Kusuri's ahoge, or the hook part of her hair, right? And can't forget, of course, about Hakari and Karane. That Hakari Karane moment that we are all so glad was included, rightfully so, right? And that moment essentially went down in Hyakano history as one of their most precious moments. A moment that really also kind of leveled up their relationship, right? And I just really love it. Nano as well was done so beautifully. Her sort of prowess and beauty and grace and elegance, her efficiency is also demonstrated and seen really well, even as a kiss-obsessed zombie, right? And also the same goes for Hakari and Karane. Their love for one another and for Rentaro is also highly, still there despite being a kiss zombie. Shizuka as a kiss zombie, as on the other hand, also exhibits that quiet nature of hers, but I also really love, again, I really love how they were able to, in terms of the story, right? In the story, I love how they were able to really push Shizuka's character in this kiss zombie state to the max, so to speak, right? For lack of better term, I really love how forward she is, but that doesn't go to show how she is still cute and adorable in the inside. So everything about all of the components essentially from the chapter really translates well, or really is adapted well into this entire episode, right? Now, anime original moments, as I've said, certainly there's been there. I really love the this is going to be a bit of a spoiler here and there, but you're gonna see that in the title anyway if you're gonna click on this video, right? So there's a Shining reference, right, found within this within this episode. So that's I find that to be really cool. That wasn't in the manga, but I really was so happy and pleased with how they've used that in this in the anime adaptation. There's a really funny scene of which the episode abruptly ends, right? The chapter ends, so to speak. In the anime, it took that to in a anime version, so to speak. In the manga, it was sort of ended as in a sort of simple the end type, right? But in the anime's adaptation, they went with the whole roll credits approach, right? Which I also really love. The soundtrack as well that they've added to the end credit scene was absolutely like spot on. Like, you can really tell that this is really the end, so to speak, right? But all is well with how things go within this within this story, and yeah, just to not touch on that too much, right? Overall, another amazing episode with such cute moments, steamy moments, and hilarious and heartwarming moments that really tickle the heart, that really tenderize the soul, fam. Especially with the relationship of Kusuri and Rentaro. At the end, they further seal the deal of their relationship, and yep, it's Rentaro and Kusuri locked on. Now, going back to my previous review on the 7th episode, I've talked a bit about Kusuri's debut essentially being quite rushed or fast, so to speak, compared to Hakari, Karane, Shizuka, and Nano's. Just a quick refresher on that. For comparison, Shizuka and Nano had and Hakari and Karane as well had episodes dedicated to them, right? Where firstly they are introduced to Rentaro, and next they are followed with this moment where they both deepen their bonds and connection with one another together, right? For Shizuka and Nano's case, they have single episodes dedicated to them where they go through that two-step process, right? The meeting of Rentaro and the deepening of their relationship, or getting to know each other even better, right? And the next episode follows by with that girlfriend, for instance, with Shizuka meeting with Hakari and Karane, right? And the same goes for Nano. The next episode, she was introduced to Hakari, Karane, and Shizuka. But for Kusuri's episode, in the first half, she was introduced or debuted, and the second half follows her meeting Rentaro, meeting with Hakari, Karane, Shizuka, and Nano, rather. And in the manga, this actually all checks out because it also follows that pattern. In this one chapter, for instance, it's where Kusiri is debuted, and the following chapter is when she was introduced to the other girlfriends, right? And there's that whole sort of notion of is Kusuri's debut chapter sort of lacking, so to speak, right? In my opinion, the way I see it is that already from Kusuri's debut chapter alone, when she was first introduced to Rentaro, it all sort of goes through that process as well, where during her meeting she has this really heartfelt moment, that this bonding session together with Rentaro and her, where they really did seal the deal, and they really found themselves in love with each other. Now, the purpose, or another thing that as well from this episode or episode 8, or from this chapter, this Kiss Biohazard arc, right, is during the end of it, that bond is, again, as I said as well, it was further deepened, right? So I guess in one way or another, it kind of compensates as well the fast-pacedness, for lack of a better term, of Kusuri's introduction through this really fun activity, this fun arc. Either way, Rentaro and Kusuri still had that wonderful and beautiful moment right at the end of the eighth episode, and I'm really satisfied with it either way, because from the get-go, from just her debut chapter in Kusuri's debut chapter already, both of them really fell in love with each other hard. The entire point, family, right, is that I really love and appreciate how this manga series is really truly able to dedicate time and episodes to really have Rentaro and this girlfriend heroine, this girlfriend character, to bond with one another and to be able to really fall in love and understand both of their sides, essentially, right, and essentially fall in love genuinely, right? And in the anime, it also kind of does that really well, considering on how amazingly beautiful the voice acting is, and just everything about it that delivers this entire lovey-dovey atmosphere. It brings it up to 100, right? And I really love that. And can't wait for the next episode as usual, because this is going to be a really fun, interesting, and it's a journey that I am really looking forward to seeing being animated, right? With that being said, thank you for listening, family, and take care.